Welcome back to Let's Talk Race in Ireland. I am your host, Harrison Paul. Kanye West and his wife are reportedly getting a divorce. This just came up on my table right now, on my desk right now. But the funny thing was, I actually had originally sat down to discuss a Charlemagne topic, which he discussed today. And I didn't totally agree with that. And it's so funny that this news actually is even better for me to kind of use this to bring context to the conversation. I think I was actually going to reference Kanye West today, so it's just as well. But to start it off, right, we're going to play what Charlemagne the God said on his recent podcast with his racist friend. That's another thing we could discuss, but we'll give him the pass on that. We'll discuss it though.
I've been hearing that theory about, the corporations. Listen, I could be totally wrong. I don't think that there's too many people that are important enough for a corporation to want to do all this to.
Yeah.
There's only one person, and I really mean this when I say this, and I know this is great conspiracy theory. There's only one person I believe in Hollywood who people conspired to actually take down.
Who?
I'm talking about a mass conspiracy. Anytime they take you down, it's people conspiring.
Yeah.
But it's usually because you did some shit.
Yeah.
But I think that there's one person who they really took down because he had too much power, and I believe that person was Michael Jackson.
Wow.
I truly believe that. And the reason I believe that is because you can look into the story. We had Deion Cole on Breakfast Club today. Deion Cole told us a story about how he got high with Paul McCartney, and Paul McCartney told him, Paul McCartney and Michael used to be real cool. Paul was telling Michael, like, yo, you got to get your business together. You got to get your business right. He told him about the publishing game.
He bought the Beatles publishing.
Michael ended up getting so big that he bought the Beatles publishing. The Beatles publishing was worth so much that literally Sony gave Michael Jackson half of their publishing company just to own the Beatles catalog. So whenever you used to see, look it up. Whenever you used to see Sony ATV, that was Sony, and ATV was Michael Jackson's publishing company, right? Imagine how powerful a black man is when he owns half of or majority of the music industry's publishing. And in some cases was even giving publishing back to some of the artists. He gave Little Richard his publishing back. I don't know how many people he did that to, but he gave Little Richard his publishing back. Look, in 2016, and this was 2016, Sony paid $750 million to acquire Michael Jackson's, 50% stake in Sony ATV Music Publishing, a joint venture that Jackson and Sony formed in 1995. This made Sony the sole owner of the world's largest music publishing company. I believe, this is all conspiracy theory. It's brilliant idiots, by the way. We just talking, this podcast. I believe that Michael Jackson had too much power in the music industry, had too much control over the most valuable asset in music, which is people's publishing. And I believe they had to take him out because of it. Smear his name, eventually get him up out of here. In 2016, they got it back for way cheaper than they probably would have paid if he was still alive. He's the one motherfuckers talk about Bill Cosby tried to buy NBC and, nah. He's the one person I believe in entertainment. Mind you, I said the entertainment industry. Conspiracies happen all the time in other industries that actually really matter.
Yeah.
But the entertainment industry, he's the one person I believe actually they ruined it. They killed his reputation and ultimately killed him.
Okay, so this is what I kept thinking of the whole time. So I had like a series of events today that really inspired my thought process today. But we'll start off with, I was walking today, right? And as I was walking, it was around lunchtime, so I saw these three men, and I had kind of like, they're walking here, right? And then I'm kind of coming in behind them as that conversation started. Did they know I was coming up? And did they notice me coming from the corner of their eye or whatever? Maybe noticed me when I noticed them and brought up that conversation at that time? I don't know. That's not the conspiracy theory I'm looking at right now. I'm actually giving them benefit of doubt and say they just so happened to be having that conversation as I passed. But it was three men, and they were finance bros. We know what tax bracket finance bros are. I'll put a picture on the screen to show you some finance bros for anybody who doesn't necessarily know that trend. Three finance bros, as you could tell what bracket they were. And then one of them goes, Puff Daddy. But they seem to be having a conversation about that. Puff Daddy goes, he's in jail, isn't it? Yeah, he's in jail. Just really happy about this, really happy about this. And it just hit me then and there why I hate this whole saga that's happening. Listen, what happened to Cassie is abhorrent. We're not even, in any shape or form wanting to say it is okay what he did or what. No, absolutely not. And even the type of lifestyle that he lived. Listen, I don't know what happened backstage. All I know, other than the relationship thing that we do not, condone, is that I wouldn't see his life any too different to Hugh Hefner's. I wouldn't see his life any too different to any other white rich billionaires. But there seems to be this victory, like, we've got them. We've got the criminals. We've got the real criminals. It's funny because I was actually having a conversation today about, and I'm going to be a little bit, I have a friend of mine who knows somebody, let me put it that way, who, will get his money kind of a shady way at times. Now, no one gets hurt, but gets it a shady way. And, I always warn him and say, bro, you got to be careful, got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? But like, look, listen, don't want to talk too much here, but I often of late was saying to myself, well, there are, I don't know if anybody knows the PPE scandal. It was literally the UK, the government, the Tory party were literally finding loopholes during the pandemic to allow their rich billionaire friends to make more millions. So they were literally scamming the system. This was all put down, and people actually found this out and exposed it. And we know billionaires and millionaires do this. We know this is done amongst the 1%ers. But why is it that, somebody who is black or brown, their crime looks different to white collar crime? And this is my take on a lot of things, actually. Oh, goodness, I want to go in 100 different directions. But, his lifestyle, and that's what I was talking about, wasn't it? His lifestyle in regards to Hugh Hefner, I don't think it was any different. But one thing I do know, and I had a conversation quite recently with another brother who lives in London. He was telling me, man, I lived and born and raised in London. White boys are doing stabbings just as much as black boys. Like, them white boys in Nike tracksuits, they stabbing. They breaking in an entry. They doing it. But I'm looking at that, someone who's never lived in inner city London. I'm looking at my Channel 4. I'm looking at my BBC News. I'm looking at all my news channels. And all I ever see when it's about what do they call that? A Rambo knife or whatever those knives are called, or a zombie knife or whatever. It's just a black boy in a hoodie that's been caught. And he goes to me, no, man, I lived in the ghetto. He goes, the ghettos, in London, you don't even say that's a black guy, that's a white guy. You just say that's a man. Them man there. Because it's like everybody is ghetto. There's no tier to ghetto. Everybody's ghetto, and that really touched me to some degree, And he was like, bro, this thing, like, as if black boys didn't know. It's not like that. I grew up there. You got to sometimes mind your pocket because of them white boys will come and snatch that phone out your pocket, right off your hands. But I'm watching it. And this is my point, brothers and sisters. When we live in a world where Charlemagne the God is saying, oh, I don't think they conspire against you. No, this reminds me of high school. My findings with racism and exploring it is so much showed me that life just became a bigger playground. It was the setup of what the playground was when we were early, teens and whatnot, and into our early, young adults. And it's just that same thing. And what I can remember as a young black boy growing up was that black dirt was dirtier. I remember there was an event of my friend who had a bit of a good friend of mine, God bless his soul, he's gone now actually, and he had a bit of a drunken night. And I'll never forget how everybody made it seem like it was the end of the world what he did. I forget what he did that night. But I remember like everybody, oh yeah. I'm not going to mention his name because, just for the sake of the fact that, I'm bringing up a story and this story almost lives in my head rent free. Oh, goodness. Oh, I remember we were all about 19, 20. Oh, and that was it. It was like when a black person did something, it was yeah, I'm not saying that they never complain when a white person did something also, but I'm saying it's like the weight of when a black person did something, it's like it became dirtier. It's almost like it felt more gratifying, and it made more sense to, to show this disdain towards this behavior that came from a black person. This was the truth of it. And it's this is good. Charlemagne, it's not the fact of like, do they conspire against you? It's cliques, right? So when someone's name will probably get the benefit of the doubt, probably get it's cliques. Johnny meets up with Amber and they're saying, oh, geez, that Puff guy, he's big-headed, isn't he? Oh, I'm tired of him. Oh, well, I know my friend, he works down the police department, and we were talking about him too. That's simple. It's not like, okay, that's why a lot of time when I see these conspiracy theories of like, Hollywood are making this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm seeing Candace Owens do that a lot, and I'm like, this is giving when Illuminati first came out. And I remember me and my friends were super infatuated and we were trying to unlock the pan. Listen, anywhere there's money and wealth, there's going to be ego and power and folly. No conspiracy theory behind that. That's my opinion. I'm not saying bad things are not happening. I'm saying I think sometimes people who don't have as much money can feel good about themselves that, oh, I'm not having an orgy. I'm a Christian. I look at you and say, you got so much hate in your heart, Candace Owens. When it comes to how God looks at things, I know he's looking at you to say, he's not going to say, oh, no, Diddy, you had an orgy. And Candace, you did a video where you were dissing disabled people and just saying you were unhappy that a campaign happened on behalf of Skims. I think Skims did a campaign for me, that's in the book that I read. You say you read the Bible. For me, that's hatred. You've got to be doing some sort of ritual of hatred, of just rehearsing negative thoughts about people, bad wishes on people. That I don't like the concept of people almost feeling like, you know what, I'm clean because I don't have orgies. No, I don't see life like that. I see life, the devil is no respecters of persons either. I think he is, how do I say this? He is he's willing to work what is at your reach. He is willing to work so the rich person who has loads at his disposal and the poor person who has loads at his disposal, he wants everyone going to hell. So if he knows I can only get this person to think hateful thoughts from morning to night, and he knows I can make Diddy indulge into some lustful natures, both of them going to be standing in the same line, according to him. So, and according to what the word says, there's no sin greater than the other. And it's not that I'm downplaying that. I'm just saying that's my take on this whole conspiracy theory. Oh, let's catch Hollywood. I had that when I was 16 years old, when I was playing, I remember Umbrella Backwards of Rihanna Umbrella Backwards. And I was, oh, did you hear it said 666? I'm out of there now. Maybe partly because I've had some crazy times in my life, and I understand that, yeah, when you stray from God, it's only inevitable what happens. Do you know what I'm saying? So listen, this is not a Christian podcast, but we're going to get to the point of like, it's like cliques, right? So it's someone who just says, Diddy, like, oh yeah, Puff, I know him, I seen him. Oh, he's just big-headed. And that's what happened. It was cliques in high school, racism. It's like you felt that, and this is when I love this wonderful quote. I'll put up on the screen. I can't even remember it now, but it was said, I would hate that you would sacrifice yourself. I want to paraphrase, in order to make people feel comfortable. And the life of a black man and a black woman is to compromise themselves in order to make people feel comfortable, because there is this social triangle. There is this concept, this social construct around race. And even if someone being super nice, there's so much layers to it about how much life someone gets in terms of the grace that they get, the dirt that they get. Yes, you might get people who want to over-exaggerate how much they like you because you're a black person, and it makes them feel good that they're nice to a black person, but there is so much more nuanced than the moments that we are prepared for and ready for. It's more so the in between the line moments in which you see, okay, this guy's moment felt a little bit different. I remember growing up, and I spoke about this before. We had the boys who were good at football, and you just felt like when a white boy was good at football, it was hailed. And I'm trying to hear the white boys, and I'm like, you telling me this boy is better than that boy? I'm not even gonna speak on myself. I'm speaking on boys that I saw, boys I knew were gifted to the bone, like who could play ball. And I'm here, and I was in amongst those white groups, and it's like, nah, no one compares to this. And I'll go home with my black brothers, and I'm like, is it just me, or how is so and so better than so? They'll say, no, it's not. But it was our reality. We knew that the dirt was dirtier. The gift that came from a white boy was never going to amount to. So if the gift of the white boy was like a 7, it'd become a 10 in order for it to rate higher above that black boy who had a 10. And if that white boy had a few flaws within his game, they would amplify that. And I'm seeing the amount of flaws in that white boy's game. This is the reality, right? It just naturally, the biases just naturally happened. Oh my, like I told you, my friend, God bless him. Oh my goodness, how could you do that? And I remember the whole night thinking, this is a bit extra, huh? I don't seen a bunch of people have a drunken night like this, and I don't remember when everyone acted like this was the end of the world. But it was a black boy who was the corporate. So when I say conspiracy theory, Hollywood is cliques. And now we go to Kanye West, and he's divorcing with his wife. Lord, we pray for him. But I think Kanye also needed a wake-up call, because Kanye forgets that he's black. It seems as though he forgets, because I just see it in my heart. I'm not wishing bad. I'm just saying I'm waiting on that Good Morning America interview where they got Bianca sitting down for a specialty, and we all waiting for the part 2, and they're letting her out in parts, and she spilling everything on that man. It was coming. It was coming. And did they conspire against Kanye? Let's talk about another aspect. Listen, here's another very complex thing. You gotta lean into me for a second. There were black boys who didn't have this boisterous presence, confidence, grit about them. And I noticed now that I look back, those are boys that sat well, made white boys feel comfortable, didn't make them feel insecure. And it was the boys who had a way about them, an it factor, that were almost untamable, couldn't tame the Negro. Those are the ones they said, oh, no. You walk in a room and you fill up the whole space. You're the elephant. I'm not, go back in your space, brother. Do like that other shy black boy. That's what we need. We need that one. The one who knows where he sits with us, not the one who goes above. And I can easily see Kanye, conversations happening between a doctor and saying, you see what Kanye posted? I'm sick of this guy. You're going to understand, back then in high school, it was popularity groups. So that next party, you may not get the invite. Why? Because that person's friends with so-and-so. Or that next event, or you just fell when you went to that party. Maybe you got some sort of showed up on a party, or showed up on a place, or you did some whatever. The vibes was off. You feel what I'm saying? So that's petty stuff now. Let's talk about the fact that Kanye and all them, that circle, and P-Diddy and all those guys, there's actually wealth, and people own things, and people own media outlets, and people own labels, and people are friends. Like he said, he always mentions how he had his doctor, and his doctor was friends with, his doctor said he would kill him. So that's the way Hollywood operates. It's like one person is here, and it's just as trivial as high schoolers. Of what I can remember, just after high school, actually. Just as trivial. But now, there's actually money in this. Look how Elon Musk behaves. That's a teenager. That's a kid. I'll put the picture on the screen of him jumping around like a kid. It's a teenager. That's all it is. That's all it is. Cliques. So now you got your friend, he's a big Jewish doctor, or do you know what I'm trying to say? Or an outlet, and he's a psychiatrist, whatever. He's friends with Rabbi Shmuley. Rabbi Shmuley, friends with the guy who does Vogue. Best friends. They go for dinner every day. It don't take nothing but a day out to do a written up thing about you. And guess what? The guy who does Vogue, he actually best friends with the guy who owned the publishing. And the guy who owned so it's not like people sitting down, Illuminati, come drink blood. That's why I think that's what it seems like. And maybe it may have happened like that when it comes to, but I think it was just an intense level when it came to Michael Jackson of like, listen, I'm picking up the phone. This has got to happen today. Let's make this happen today. But that's what the black man has to deal with, even in the office. I have friends and family who explain this to me. I always talk to my mother. We go through these office environment. You feel the cliques. You feel people are looking for you to shrink back into your, don't stand black and tall. Don't do that. Don't do that. So a lot of black people are standing there and say, I don't suffer racism. Yeah, they don't put you back in your box. You should be worried. Because one thing I know, they do not like when I stands tall. They do not like when I stands tall. And knows exactly how to read the room. They don't like that one. They don't like the one that say, I know who you are. I know who you are. I know your type. I know what way you want me to shrink. I'm not doing that for you. Excuse me. You can go and cry about it. Talk to you later. See ya. You can go cry about it. I'd rather be alone. I'd rather be lonely here. I enjoy my own company, actually. Oh, that one's a problem. That one is a problem. Because we were taught that you serve us. Are you understanding me today, brothers and sisters? So the concept of conspiring against, it's so trivial, so simple, so easy. And then people don't like your presence. And the last thing I will say is this. I had a very interesting conversation today with a dude. I had a nice spa day today. I was in the sauna and just enjoying it. And thank God I had a friend in the sauna. I made a friend in the sauna, so we were just chatting. And I was just talking about my old life and all my mistakes and how I got into, my crazy past with substance abuse and stuff like that. And I explained to him that, growing up, you find yourself idolizing, hip-hop artists. And a lot of black people are saying, why do we idolize entertainers? Because we know that they're the people. Look, you were bragging about your degree. You was bragging about your college thing. But a lot of y'all, let's keep it $100. You got the degree. We're not seeing the $1 billion company. We're not seeing the $1 million company. So I think sometimes black people felt like because we hopefully we see it come, hopefully come one day. But a lot of the time, we know what it's like to maneuver through the world. Although a lot of us don't like to admit it, we know what it's like to maneuver through this world as a black man. And there's something about those black men who use their gifts to make their millions despite the hurdles we know we face as you even raise in tax bracket. And there's something admirable about these guys who were able to succeed as black men. Not just degree and get a good job. Their family line set up for a very long time. We cannot take that away from the hip-hop artists, whether you like it or not. We cannot take that from Puff Daddy. We cannot take that from Jay-Z. We cannot take that from Future. We cannot take that from the Kids in the Ghetto, NBA Youngboy, you name it. We cannot take that from them. These boys maneuvered in a world where it ain't set up for us to get millions the way it's set up for them to get millions. And they did, and they went and did that. So there's something about that draws us to that. And I was just kind of saying how that, kind of unfortunately led me to do some of the substance abuse I did. I almost felt I was related more with my favorite artists when I did these substances, And that's the negative side of hip-hop that I want to try and rectify within my own music career. But, this is the unfortunate side of it. But that's the only thing that I wanted to mention to you guys today is that, listen, these guys who are up here, they've maneuvered through a world, through the negative, through the jealousy, the black man walking in. Think what it's like to be a black man walking with your dreadlocks to a white board meeting. And they walked in with their dreadlocks and their Louis Vuitton, the red bottoms. And that's why I have so much respect as well for a lot of African Americans, because I feel like they didn't walk up in a lot of them meetings and start changing how they talk and start changing their demeanor, because they were the ticket. Whether the people who were making money off them liked it or not, it was exactly how he came, exactly the way he talked, with his broken English, with his whatever way he likes to his ebonics. That's what people wanted, and that artist was very aware of that. That was a special thing about it. He didn't have to, like we're told, whiten up yourself in order to then be worthy to attain millions. That's the theory behind it, right? Free yourself from blackness. I'm not saying necessarily blackness is only, exclusive to that, but it is definitely a heart of where we come from. It's the heart of where we come from. We know that black people were disadvantaged. So a lot of the people who came from those communities and disadvantages, so that is black culture. Ghetto culture is black culture, and I'm proud of that. And we should be proud of that. We should be proud of that. A lot of black people, we live in the council states, we should be proud of that, because we know what situation we was in. So that's the respect that we have for a lot of these stars, right? Is that they maneuvered through the gossip. You know what it is in a corporate job if you're watching this. You know what it is growing up if you're a person who used to have that it factor about you. You know what that is. And you wondering, do I tame myself? Do I tame myself? And then there were certain groups of people you were like, nah, these people have power to pull the plug on me. And what does pull the plug mean? It just means that one conversation with the girls, one conversation with the guys. And next time you put up to another, sort of event or whatever, get together or whatever, you just feel the vibes off, energy's off. But what does that translate then in Hollywood? I was going to call you to headline this show, but no. I was going to call you for this business deal, but nah. I'm about to book Puff for this thing. What do you think about him? Oh, arrogant. Don't you just hate? Oh, simple, just like trivial like that. Yeah. But if those same behaviors were coming from Hugh Hefner, oh, good guy, rough around the edges, but great. Probably has an attitude, probably a diva. Good. She's really sweet. She's sometimes a little bit edgy, but she's all right. Do business with her. But black person got a little bit of diva in them. Oh, can't do it. No. Cut them off. Can't do it. Little bit of diva, little bit of this. Dirt, always dirt here. We got corrupt leaders all over Europe. Oh, but the epitome of corrupt is African leaders. But that's how they camouflage neocolonialism. That's how they camouflage the fact that they're taking wealth out of Africa. And then we buy it. Oh, we're way dirtier. That's easy. We eat it we eat that up. Oh yeah, I know. That's why when we see another black person, we get secondhand embarrassment. Don't embarrass me. I try to tell myself to stop doing that nonsense. Don't embarrass me. We already trying to clean our name out here. Clean our name for who? And I'll say this and I'll end the show on this. Sometimes I see a little young brother, and I remember, me, I grew up, I used to sag my pants. I'll see a young brother, he got his pants sagged. And I live in kind of an area where it's majority white people here. And I'll see him, and old me would get like, come on, fix up, man. Like, it's white people watching. Now I'm like, I can see younger me, and I'm like, do you embrace your culture? Be yourself. Be happy. That's your culture. That's that black that was built in the ghettos. That rebellious culture. Sagging the pants is a form of rebelliousness. I'm not going to wear them properly. How about that? I'm going to wear around here. How about that? That's the meaning of hip hop. All right, I'm supposed to wear the cap to the front? All right, cool. I'm going to wear it like this. I'm making hanging to the side like that. That's the beauty of hip hop. They didn't accept me anyway. So I'm going to do things how I'm going to do things anyway. I'm supposed to have a haircut? Okay, I seen a little kid yesterday. I loved it. And he had his dreads down in in his face like he was Chief Keef. Now, old me be like, come on, man. Don't scare the white people. Go on, kid. Walk, kid. Do your thing. Be black. I could go on all day. But thank you so much for watching. Kanye, watch yourself. Puff Daddy, I am proud of what you did. But I'm not going to look at you like you any worse than Hugh Hefner. And you any worse than all of these people who are corrupt running governments. In fact, I'm going to be a little bit more disappointed, and I'm not going to indulge in any of it because I know that they use you as a scapegoat. They use you as a scapegoat. Prince Andrew has slipped away from the headlines nicely and peacefully. Nobody cares anymore, huh? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
And I'm on a mission for you.